Okay. There was apparently, speaking of telenovelas, there was apparently some drama that had happened. I got a message from one of my fans on X who asked if they could take a soundbite and use it. That something I had said, and I said, go ahead, go for it. And he said that he was going to be on this podcast called Side Scrollers, which has what's this dude's name? Rageaholic. I got his channel up here, which I've seen a couple of his videos. Personally, like he rants, which is, you know, my kind of style. I like Angry Joe, kind of like this dude rants, and cool, man. Like, you know, like if that's their niche. That's what they do. And they go off, and it's like, okay, all right, so what are you going to go off on, right? His name is also RazorFist. I've seen about a couple videos, probably like 3 or 4. Most times I'm like, okay, cool. And apparently they brought up Star Citizen. Okay, now I went to look on his channel, and I haven't seen like a Star Citizen video for 5 years. So I don't know if because you know, of this recently, the $700 million is clickbait now with people, so they want more views and more subscribers that they're gonna follow up with Star Citizen on the story, or what the deal is. But let's check out and let's see what they have to say. And I'm not quite sure how much I can watch, but it's interesting here because Nux says the worst arguments in calling you and Space Tomato out. And I was like, okay, like really, when this stuff when these types of things happen, I don't really mind it at all, because I have a real life, you know what I'm saying? like when you have dudes on the internet dissing you, to me, it's laughable. It's not even like I couldn't do this as long as I have been doing this if I took everything personally. I've had plenty of haters in my life, right? And that just kind of rolls off my back here. So I hope we can hit the part I don't get too bored where I just want to turn it off because it's boring, that I can hear like the criticisms they have of me. They probably call me like a white knight or all the standard things that, you know, the narratives that you hear with Star Citizen, because it's bad to be a dreamer. You know, it's bad to want a game where you can do like a lot of cool shit, and it's bad to have to wait. You know, like if you're basically a cuck if you're waiting so long for this game type of narrative. You know what I mean? Like they just throw poop on people who dream. Like they make you feel bad type of vibe because that gets them money. You know, those types of people. So let's hey. Let's check it out and let's see what they have to say, man. Also, people who wear shades during podcasts are really douches. You know, people who wear shades during podcasts is absolute douches.
It's awesome. All right, let's get into this. This story came out last week, and it's been an ongoing story for years, literally years. As I go back on the RazorFist YouTube, Rageaholic YouTube channel, I find a video from 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's been 5 years.
From longer than that, I bet.
And the name of the segment is Autistic Deep Dive into Star Citizen Scam. Really classy. Really classy. Really classy.
Been talking about it. Yes, absolutely. Well, that's my most recent one.
From 5 years ago.
Some say he still has that cup behind him.
It's true.
The Whataburger cup right there.
Whataburger, baby.
But this is about Star Citizen. And this article came out from IGN a few days ago. And it says, Star Citizen pushes through the $700 million raised mark. And no, there still isn't a release date here. Now, before we started the show, people saw the title. And some people are ridiculous.
I wonder how many tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars that have been made over the past 7+ years of content creators that went with like these clickbait titles of like Star Citizen rose 100 million and still doesn't have a release date. Star Citizen rose 250 million, still doesn't have a release date. 300 million doesn't have a release date. 500 million doesn't have a release date. Like, I wonder how many content creators have made money off of those clickbaity titles. Like, what, you know, like people really don't understand the scope of this game. It's not like other games. That's why it's brought in $700 million from fans. Like, let that sink in a little bit. And some people would say, well, that's because this promise that they gave to us, it's just a dream and it'll never happen. Well, like, man, I gotta say, Dreamers are the people that make things happen. As long as they can execute on the plan correctly, they can make it happen. And sometimes it takes a long time. And for people that don't believe that what Star Citizen is trying to do is revolutionary in gaming, are just simply ignorant. Either they haven't taken the time to really research what's going on within Cloud Imperium, or they just want the monetization. They just want the clickbait stuff, right? I mean, if you're really following it, you know what it is that they're trying to do. Some would say it's impossible. And what I'm talking about is dynamic server meshing primarily as a technology. If they can do this, it will be revolutionary for the entire gaming space. But people do love to throw poo on dreamers because dreamers are really easy targets. But just ask the people that believed in Elon with Tesla. You can ask the people that believed in Jobs with Apple. You can ask the people who are behind people that dream, that come through on their promises, and boy, does it change their lives. Now, I'm not saying it in terms of wealth or monetary wealth in terms of Star Citizen, because nobody really can invest in Cloud Imperium. But what it will do for gamers in terms of gaming and what we want will be absolutely revolutionary if they do come through with it. And Cloud Imperium could make tons of cash off of it, right? And it has taken a long time. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Ridiculous Star Citizen stands. Like, they love this game. They will go to battle for this game. They began.
It's not the game. It's the idea. Like here's the thing. It is not the game. It could be any title, right? It could literally be any title. What it is the idea of the quote unquote everything game. That is really what people are investing behind, or not investing, but pledging, putting their money in for the experience, for the possibility to play a game that is all encompassing. 1,000 players in an instance with multiple instances, all communicating through dynamic server meshing and able to have these huge fleet battles. This is what people are into. In an MMO sandbox, what is the number one key ingredient for gamers that would make this most successful, or any title successful, is to have like an unlimited amount of people. That is like the ultimate dream of MMO gaming.
I had one of those fans after I recorded my first rant. The guy sounded like Arnold Schwarzenegger on codeine. He recorded a reply video. It was utterly retarded. And by the way, that was like 10 years ago. The guy was coping then. I think one of the exact things the guy said was, nobody complains about Cyberpunk 2077 not being released yet, because that one took a long time. It was like, really? No one complained? Wasn't Cyberpunk 2077 like one of the biggest like, seriously, wasn't it the biggest like category 5 shitstorm in the history of gaming? Yes, actually that didn't turn out very well either. So how much worse is that going to be for Star Citizen exactly? But yeah, we'll go ahead and talk about it.
Well, this is pretty interesting. IGN breaks down its revenue very well in this article, broken down by the hour. It says so it's Cloud Imperium Games, and they're the developer behind the controversial Space Sim, makes revenue publicly available on its website, which at the time this article's published, our publication showed Star Citizen at the $701,186,615 mark.
Right.
CIG calls the money funds raised. Now,
well, and that is telling actually, because in the video that you just showed that I had recorded like 5 years ago, I think they were just rounding the corner on 600 million or something. So it's taken them a while to get from 600 to 700. They've slowed down, and significantly, which tells me they're probably subsisting on whales. As I pointed out, I think in that video, Chris Roberts, who's the guy who's running the whole show, he had actually secured like 2 big investors, which was something that he said he was crowdfunding in order to avoid. Then he goes out and hunts down 2 big investors to work. So that might also be a factor. But like, they have slowed way, way, way down on the fundraising. As crazy as that number is, the game's been in development like 12 years or something.
As it says right here, yeah, over the 12 years since its crowdfunding began. I mean, think about how much the world has changed in 12 years. And let's also put that in another verbiage. In the last decade and 2 years since development began. 12 years over.
Let's look at some numbers here before we get like possible conjecture here. So Rageaholic is saying that it took them a while to get from 600 million to 700 million. Okay. I wouldn't call that a long time. They made it's just wrong. I mean, like, at this point, they raised 113 million in 2022. In the fiscal year of 2023, they raised more, 117 million. So like, it took them 1 year. Like, look at these numbers, by the way. Let's just talk some facts in terms of the revenues. Okay? Look at this chart. Look, I see nothing but growth here. Each one of these bars going horizontal shows the amount of revenue they've collected since 2012. 2012, 7 million. 2013, 28 million. 2014, 32 million. 2015, 35 million. 2016, 36 million. 2017, their first down year in terms of the revenue they brought in compared to years prior at 34 million, only 2 million down from the prior year. Then they blow away another record, 37 million in 2018, 47 million in 2019. 78 million, almost double in 2020, 86 million in 2021, 113 million in 2022. In 2023, 117 million. In fact, I thought in 2023 they were going to do worse. I was saying they're probably going to hit 90 million. I was wrong on what my projections were. They blew my projections out of the water. They had another stellar year. They beat the prior year. This is called growth. Okay. There's nothing slow about this. So Rageaholic is absolutely wrong. It didn't take a long time. It didn't. He's just saying shit to say shit. You know, it's just absolutely wrong.
For a decade. So in 2012, what were you doing in 2012, Razor? Like, Blabs, you were what?
Right.
You know,
I was in 10th grade.
Right.
I mean, if you're looking at that chart, where's that? Is that I X'd it out. But if you're looking at that chart, what that shows you is success. That shows you they made 100+ million in 2022, which was a bear market. They were selling their ass off. They had one of their best banner years in the year of a bear market. And Rageaholic's telling you that it took them a long time to hit 700 million. It took them 1 year. Do I call this dude RazorFist or Rageaholic? I'm confused. RazorFist? Should I call him RazorFist? Okay.
Well, right. That was when it was revealed. They apparently did like a whole preamble development before that, like 2009, 2010. Seriously, I don't know. When this game started develop, well, actually, put it this way: kids who were born the year Star Citizen began development are now freshmen.
What I don't understand is people still thinking this is a scam after this long of a time and this much effort by multiple people putting their lives into this. That's what I just don't get about people. I think they know it's clickbait. They've got to know it's clickbait. Like, you know, they got to be doing this for the wrong intentions. They're not doing it to like report on the game. They're just doing it because it's an easy target and they make money off of it, right? I mean, I don't understand, I guess.
Or sophomores in high school.
Jeez.
That kind of puts it.
It's been a long time, no doubt. I mean, like, there's no argument against that. I totally agree. It's been a long time, but like, again, it's going to be a patience game. They're promising things that haven't been done in gaming before. Do we not get that? Do we not understand that yet? Do content creators not get this, that this game is promising to do what no other game has done before? Do they not understand that what they want to do isn't in gaming? Do they understand that concept at all? Do they get that? Because if they get it, the only time I see that comes like an inkling of them understanding that is then they say, well, this is an easy way to attack it. How could this ever fucking happen? Because it doesn't even exist. These guys are a cult. These guys are fucking morons. How dare we want to actually, pave the way towards new types of tech that will revolutionize gaming? How dare us to actually want to believe, to want to fund something that might be bringing about a revolution in gaming? And if there are people out there that like laugh at that and they're like, oh, revolution in gaming, what the fuck is this big fat bald guy talking about? Dudes, take a moment to think about an MMO that would have like thousands of people playing at the same time. Like what? Don't you want that as a gamer? Don't you want that as a gamer? I mean, $700 million from people that want that as gamers want that. Should we laugh at those people for actually wanting that? Like, if you're a hardcore gamer, don't you want that? Don't you want an experience? It's like 1,000+ people at the same time having amazing fleet battles, living on planets, right? I mean, like, don't you want that? Wouldn't you be for that? Why poop on it? What other title, what other developers out there trying to do that? Name me one developer that's trying to do that, and I will actually have something to compare Star Citizen to, because there's no title. There's nobody out there. There's not one developer out there that's trying to do the same thing that Cloud Imperium's doing. Not one. They're not even close, Damon, but they're trying. Like, I get you. I agree with you, Damon. They aren't close. I've had really bad experiences with Star Citizen the past 3 weeks, buddy. I'm coming from a place where I get what you're saying, Damon. Like, I've had glitches. My missions are shit. My experiences are shit. Everybody's telling me it's stable, and I'm like, not me. I'm having a really shit time. I'm not too fond of master modes. There's a ton of shit I could bitch about with Star Citizen. You know what I'm saying, Damon? I could easily shit on Star Citizen all day long, Damon. But name me one other company that's trying to do what they're trying to do. Just name me one, so I have something to compare it with. There's not one, Damon. Damon, you get what I'm saying, dude? There's not one out there. This is the one I'm going to support because they're trying to do something new. If there's somebody out there trying to do the same thing where I can get 1,000+ people, if I can get 1,000+ people in an MMO and they want to try and invent new tech, you let me know who the fuck the developer is and I will pitch them a couple bucks. You know what I'm trying to say, Damon? That's my point. I could easily bitch like these three about Star Citizen and make money off of everybody. But I'm not. I'm going to take the stance like this isn't being done before. This hasn't been done before. Yeah, it's take 10+ years, but nobody's trying to do this. Why wouldn't you want to support this as a gamer? Why would you think that like they're just trying to take your money when they put 10+ years of work into this with over 1,000 employees? Why would you think that? That's craziness. They might fail, but they're goddamn trying. They're trying. It might not be the perfect experience. I know sure as shit it isn't the perfect experience, but at least they're trying it. Is there anybody else? Anybody? Is there any fucking anybody else out there doing what they're doing? Name me one. Name me one fucking developer doing this. Crazy talk. Right. Right. There's nobody. There's not one company out there trying to create tech like this. And some people would say, oh, well, it's fucking, just write it off. But they're not going to be able to do it because it's not been done before. Well, they laughed at Elon with fucking rockets that could land by themselves. And that motherfucker made rockets that landed by themselves because he kept doing it trial and error. Motherfucker got rockets to land back down on a pad after they launched off. And everybody went, oh, shit. They said it to him with EVs. Oh, you're only going to ship like a couple hundred, a couple thousand. Okay, 10,000. Okay, you're only going to ship 50,000. Okay, maybe 100,000 EVs. Okay, all right, you're at 100,000. Motherfuckers shipping out millions of them now. Like, that's kind of like the comparison. I know, bad analogy. I get it. But like, this is the thing. It is really easy to shit on dreamers. It's so easy. This is low quality, like lazy kind of going about journalism here where like you could easily pick on Star Citizen. I could flip the script if I wanted to. I could flip the script and make shit ton more off of everybody if I just shit talk this title. Oh my God. It's a payday. It's a payday. But I don't. I don't want to take that angle because I want to believe. I want to dream. I want a game I can play like that. I'm a gamer. What fucking gamer on the face of this planet wouldn't want this? I don't know. Like, I feel like you and I are in a room and there's just like the monkeys are on the outside of the cage throwing poo at us. I feel like we're in we're inside some plexiglass cage, and I feel like monkeys are on the outside throwing poo at us. I'm like, what the fuck is this, like a reverse zoo? What the fuck is going on? What is going on here? Do gamers not want this experience? Am I like, I'm supposed to feel shame for wanting an experience that hasn't happened in gaming yet? I should feel ashamed to be a dreamer. Is that the message? Boy, that's pretty hopeless. That's pretty fucking dark. Let's just fold up shop and quit. Like, what the fuck is going on here? This is the narrative. Like, this narrative is the sane narrative. The narrative to throw poo is the narrative. That's the narrative. Okay.
It's it all in perspective.
All right, so they're approaching Star Citizen Alpha 4, right? But this is all building up to Star Citizen 1.0, which Roberts, the CIG chief, the chief over at that, says, which Robert says is what we consider the feature and content set to represent, quote, commercial release. However, there's still no release date or even a release window for Star Citizen 1.0.
Is it that crazy that there's no release date on a game that's working on tech because the actual gameplay relies on that tech to do something that's never been done in gaming? Is it crazy that there's no release date for that? Let it sink in a moment. Hey, what they're trying to do hasn't been done before. Can we have a release date on this? Can we have a release date? What the fuck did you get us a release date? Just let it sink in for a moment.
CIG will share a roadmap later this year, he has said. So
that's not true. They announced the release date was holiday.
I want to stick in long enough to see this guy dunk on me. I want to see this motherfucker dunk on me for a second, man. Because it's funny. It's funny when I'm looking at this. Nook says, you could calmly, like Tomato, illuminate them on how character assassination is a sign of lack of ability to articulate his opinion. Dudes. Listen, Space Tomato has his way, and I have my own way. Can I get an amen?
Yes, sir. Can I get an amen? Yes.
You're talking to DG. I'm not gonna calmly illuminate anybody, man. I'm gonna fucking punch up, punch down, punch to the side. I'll kick you. I'll fucking bite you if I have to. I'm gonna grab this goddamn French press and I'm gonna bash it into your fucking no. What else does he say? Ask him to let you explain how it went so he can have the whole picture to shit on. But if he wants to get down and dirty and keep his argument, he must not call excuses what are technological facts. First off, Nooks, I appreciate you, bro, but like, there's no technological facts yet because the technology really is just in its inception phase. And again, I'm talking about the Holy Grail. I'm talking about dynamic server meshing, and it's really the first implementation of it's going to be messy. It's going to be messy. It's going to take some time for this to happen. But I'm happy that we're here. CitizenCon, you guys all saw it. They had their head engineer. We saw it in 2023. We saw dynamic server meshing work. We talked with developers that said, yes, this is actually working. We got the proofs in the pudding. You know what I'm saying? So they got the baby phase done of dynamic server meshing when people were telling us that it couldn't happen. They're going to have to work on it. They got plenty to work on in terms of code. It's going to take them a long time to smooth out. Okay? But they did something that hadn't been done before. That we already saw it in 2023. We saw it at CitizenCon. So let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Day of 2015, which I'm sure we'll be passing any day now.
Damon, I get you, bro. You're taking the easy road, dude. That's, yes, 9 years of implementation. Yes, the play experience is not the best, Damon. I get you, bro. I get you, bro. The poo, man. I get hashtag poo, bro. I get it. It's so easy, right? It's so easy to do. Like what you're doing, Damon? Damon says the first 9 years of implementation gonna be messy. Hashtag poo. I get it, dude. Dude, I get it. I get it. It's the longest running alpha ever. It's you could make 10 different punchlines to the joke, right? But name me, Damon, you still haven't done it. You still haven't done it. Name me one other developer that's trying to do this. So I have something to compare this with. Just name me one, Damon. Can you do it? If you can't do it, it shouldn't be so easy of a target. Just one, Damon. Just name me one.
Wait for it.
But you always get they've always got some kind of reason why
it was going to be Starfield was the killer. It was going to be, Elite Dangerous, which is a complete joke. It's going to be all these different titles that are always going to kill Star Citizen. The motherfucking game's in alpha still, longest running alpha ever, and people consistently come back to Star Citizen over and over again. If they played Starfield, come back to Star Citizen. They're in Elite Dangerous, come over to Star Citizen. Shit, we saw all the commanders from Elite Dangerous come over after Odyssey came out, and that was a shitstorm. You guys want to talk about a shitstorm? Odyssey was terrible. They killed Elite Dangerous. Frontier Development killed Elite Dangerous when fucking Engineers came out, and you had a grind fest all day long song to get anything opposed to what you had previously that you already had. They took it away and then they made you grind for fucking 7 days straight to get back what you already had, man. They killed it when they introduced Engineers because Frontier Development didn't know what the fuck they were doing, man. And then after Odyssey was a complete flop, what happened? You had a huge migration of everybody over from Elite Dangerous into Star Citizen, man. So what's the next Star Citizen killer? You got a game that's running an alpha that people keep coming back to. And yet, still a joke, right? Because the experience is lackluster. We're going to talk about it. We listen, I'm hitting this rationally. I'm not going to white knight the shit out of this. There's a lot of shit wrong with Star Citizen. There's a lot. But name me one other developer trying to do this. One.
It hasn't come out. And fair enough. Games are done when they're done. But, they've announced several release dates and didn't meet them. And there's kind of two games being released at once.
Absolutely. Does Cloud Imperium and Chris and Star Citizen deserve harsh criticism? Absolutely. Damon says, I still have hope for SC, but I also think they deserve some harsh criticism about certain things. Absolutely, Damon. But at the same time, you should not forget a lot of the tech the tech that's gone into it thus far that has been revolutionary that people are just bypassing because it's already in the alpha, which is planetary landing. That's a big fucking deal. Seamless without having to worry about a fucking cutscene. That's huge. How about being able to walk on a spaceship rotating 360 fucking degrees, moving every which way, but your viewing plane is flat? How about that? That's pretty fucking amazing. There's tons of tech in this game. How about the weather systems in the game? Pretty fucking awesome visually. Physics grid sucks ass. AI sucks ass. I'm not too fond of master modes. There's a lot of things I can bitch about. I can bitch about Star Citizen all day long. All day long song. I get it. But name me one other developer trying to do this. Trying to give us these experiences. Damon says, I said a long time ago, even if SC fails, if they sell off the IP, it will improve future video games for everyone when other companies pick that stuff up. Absolutely. The work that they have done right now will improve the gaming industry. The work that they've done in this past 10 years will improve the gaming industry. If you are a gamer, which I believe these three guys and this girl and these two other dudes are, I believe they are all gamers. If you're gamers, why wouldn't you want this? Just because it's taken this long? Dudes, play another title. Quit being so fucking angry. Go outside, touch some grass. Play another title. Why stick on it? Oh, wait, I know why you want to stick on it. Because it's monetizable. Because it gets them clicks. That clickety clack. They gotta put it down. They gotta put it down on the channel for them clickety clacks, man. They want to monetize your eyeballs. Because it's easy. It's easy. You know, I get a lot of criticism like, DG, all you do is react anymore. That's all you ever do. I would like to call it enhancing, by the way. Like, I can just hear now if they are watching this, like, this dude's got a soundboard. Like, oh my God. Yeah, I got a soundboard, motherfuckers. But they call what I'm doing lazy content. Like, my opinions don't matter. Like, all the decades of fucking gaming I've fucking spent in gaming, and like my opinion doesn't fucking matter. Okay, all right. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, how lazy is this content? It's easy. It's one of the easiest targets in the fucking world. It's such an easy target. Star Citizen is such a fucking easy target. And yet I want to be a dreamer. I want to dream. I want to believe. Shame on me, I guess, for wanting to believe. Shame on me for wanting to be positive. What? I guess I'm just a white knight because I want things in a game that don't fucking exist. Fuck.
The appropriately named PU, Persistent Universe, and there is Squadron 42. Squadron 42 is the single player game. Squadron 42 is what I wanted. I didn't even care about the multiplayer.
Which is crazy. Put a 1 if you want the MMO experience, or a 2 if you want Squadron 42. We already did this. Most of the people that signed up for this want the MMO experience, not fucking Squadron 42. But hey, you want Squadron 42? Cool. But like, most people want the MMO experience. Or all of it. So yeah, like there's, okay, yeah, all of it. But if you had to choose one, if you had to choose, what would it be? If you could only have the MMO or you could only have Squadron 42, what would you pick then? I would pick 1. I would pick 1. I want the sandbox. Oh, we got some Squadron 42s. Oh, no, now we got the MMOs. The MMO is 1. You guys are like, which one's which? 1 is for the MMO, 2 is for Squadron 42. Okay, yeah. I mean, we did this before. We polled like thousands of people, and it was, you know, I think it ended up being 67% of people wanted it for the MMO, and I think, you know, the other 33 went for Squadron 42. So anyway, we pulled that. But now I'm looking at the chat, and most people are saying Squadron 42.
Crap. Squadron 42 is just Wing Commander. That's what it is. I love Wing Commander. I've always loved that series. It's basically just a new Wing Commander game. It even has Mark Hamill in it. So it's just a classic Wing Commander game. Yeah. And that's the one people have been saying, like, oh, that'll come out first. And it's like, apparently they've shifted members of that development over to the Persistent Universe module, which was supposed to be taken at a good sign, or as a good sign, rather. But that was like over a year ago, and we haven't heard anything since. So I don't know if the plan at this point is.
That's not true. I mean, like, if you're a subscriber, you get updates on Squadron 42 every single month here. Hold on a second. Let's see. Playing this.
We'll only release Squadron 42 when the Persistent Universe version of Star Citizen, the massively multiplayer online Star Citizen, is actually available, and try and really blow people away. Maybe that's the thought process. I really don't know. But from launch modules to complete version upgrades to the Great White Rhinoceros known as Squadron 42, about the only thing over the course of this 12-year development cycle that Star Citizen has never failed to deliver is excuses. It's over and over and over again. They miss a date, excuse. Miss a date, excuse.
By the way,
it got to the point.
By the way, what I'm showing you is actually Squadron 42 updates on what's going on. If you're a subscriber, you get them monthly. Sometimes you get them once or twice a month. So like, you get updated. So again, not correct. Like I love this dude's rants. Don't get me wrong. I love this dude's rants. Okay. This guy rants epic rants, very similar to Angry Joe, but factually incorrect 2 times now.
Point where they had to implement a roadmap. I mean, process this for a beat. It was almost a decade before they even had a development roadmap available for people to look at. So they could have been doing anything in that time.
I really want to push this home. Like if you go to their website, and this is just crazy to see, right? They have their website. You can break down their funding per hour, broken down per day, per hour. Here we go. This is in the last day, by the way. So in the last day, broken down per hour, at its height, it made $15,000 an hour. Right. At its lowest, it made less than just about $7,000 an hour. Yeah. Okay. So this is continuing on. Now, if you go back, if you continue to scroll down,
you see there, those spikes correspond with major announcements, right? I wonder every time I see a Star Citizen announcement, the first thing that comes to mind is that true, or are they just trying to get the game out there again so they get more donations? Because like in you see a spike there in late 2015.
Why? Oh, a shame shame on capitalism. Shame, man. Listen, there's some tactics that Cloud Imperium employs that I'm not too fond of. Like I used to get really pissed off that ship sale after ship sale, like another ship sale, like another ship sale, like another ship sale. But that's how they pay for the fucking employees that work there. Like that's necessary. They have to pay their employees. Do I think that they've actually have too many locations and too many employees? Kind of, sort of, yeah. I kind of think that they got too many. Personally. Like Chris is going a little ham with the amount of people that are working at Cloud Imperium and a little ham with the locations. But hey, we've talked about that. But they got real people that need paid, real paychecks, and these ships pay those people, period. And that's called capitalism. That's called capitalism. The success of this, the actual us hitting our goal, is dependent upon these revenues. Are they pocketing too much? Is Chris pocketing too much? Perhaps. But here's the thing. They need these revenues regardless in order to be a success, period. Full stop.
And that's when they announced the game was going to come out, right? And you see that again and again over the course of the timeline.
Well, okay, this is the monthly breakdown for revenue. Right. So last month, I guess this is April, I don't know. It's going up April 4. I guess that'd be May. So in May, they made $25 million, something like that, right? Which is a jump over the last 6 months. It had dropped down to about $4 million a month, but they're still generating $4 million a month. Look at the campaign start. It started on December 23rd, 2012.
Yeah.
In their first.
And all this on their site are stretch goals. This is what ended up happening. This ended up turning into something called stretch goals. This is very early Star Citizen, by the way, everybody. Star Citizen was only supposed to be Squadron 42, a single player PvE experience, choose your own adventure kind of format. Your choices, replayable as hell, very similar to Wing Commander, right? And then more people started putting money into it because they wanted it faster. And then what ended up happening is Cloud Imperium said, do you want this? And people voted yes, right? Do you want this? People voted yes. Do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? Yes, 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 yes. Stretch goal after stretch goal, everything was yes. Then the game polymorphed into what we call the persistent universe, into an MMO sandbox because of these stretch goals. It wasn't something that Cloud Imperium decided. It was the fan base that decided it. That's what a lot of content creators don't get.
First stretch goal was at $2.5 million.
PS4 wasn't out yet, folks.
Right, right. And I think that's the one thing, like, what were you playing? Your 3DS at the time, you know?
Resident Evil 6, I think I was getting ready to review.
But they continue here. As you scroll down, like you can see there's always an extra stretch goal. Always an extra stretch goal. It's 5 million, 10 million. And
yeah, I mean, that's because the scope of it was small. And then what ended up happening was the people were asking for more. The people were asking for more. This isn't like, the way they're framing this is that Cloud Imperium and Chris is like scamming people out of money. Like, oh, hey, like they're approaching us. They're like Cloud Imperium were approaching their fan base. No. It was the opposite. The fan base was approaching the team saying, hey, how about this? Can we have this? And they were like, well, guys, if you want this, then we're going to have to put some fucking more money in it and get more people. And then people said, fine. And then Cloud Imperium said, okay, let's start stretch goals. You guys want this? People said, yes, check, right? Then people started saying, hey, you know what else we'd like? We'd also like this. And then Cloud Imperium's like, okay, fuck it. You guys want this? Let's put it up for you guys. Do you guys want this? Check. Yes. Money come flooding in. That's how it happened. They weren't scamazing people. But that's like, this is what I'm trying to say. Like, they don't have the knowledge. Like they're framing this narrative up like they're framing it like Chris and everybody's taking your fucking money. Like, hey, let's do this and this and this. You know, like it's terrible, man. It's fucking terrible.
They're generating this money. You know, this is back in 2013. It took $1 million for between 13 million and $14 million. It took 2 months. They're like, well, we do this in 2 months. Well, they're generating that like.
They're creating their own narrative, right, Orson?
$4 million low end on a month-to-month basis.
Because it's easy. Because, again, it's an easy target. You understand what I'm trying to say, guys? Like, and then we're the bad guys. Like, the people that want to dream and want something in gaming that's brand new, then we end up being the bad people. Like, we're the cult. We're the unsuspecting ones. We're the ones that don't have the facts. We're the ones that's having the wool pulled over our eyes. We're the victims. We're all victims. I mean, it's so fucking sick, man. It is fucking mental. It is toxic. It is clickable. It is monetizable. I don't go for the easy content. When people tell me what I do is easy, that I'm lazy content, I fucking laugh at it. I get 3 or 4 comments a day on my YouTube channel about how I'm lazy content, about how I'm the lazy one. I laugh that shit off. No. I'm not the lazy content. That's the lazy content.
You can see as you just continue to scroll, look at this just insanity that I continue to scroll down. And eventually they just stopped. They're like, yeah, you know, we're at 65 million. We don't need to have any more stretch goals. We don't need to add anything else to the game. Like, how do you, it just continues on and on.
Because we said yes to everything. There's nothing else to add. Basically, all these stretch goals amount to this. Do you want a game that does everything? And we said yes, and we voted with our pocketbooks, man. And why isn't Blabs even talking? I want to hear what Blabs' point of view on this is. I kind of get where these two guys are gonna, I want to hear what Blabs has to say.
On and on and on and on. Enhanced ship mod.
I get that I'm talking a lot, by the way. This is my channel. For people that are upset that I'm the 300,000 subscriber dude talk, and that you're watching a 20,000 subscriber dude, and I must not be important because I'm a 20,000 subscriber dude. If you're watching this and you're one of those people thinking that, go fuck off right now, man. You're on my channel. I'll talk as long as I goddamn well want to.
Modularity. Okay. You need another $1 million for that. So, I guess the bigger question here, as we're now passing $700 million in funds raised with 5 million Star citizens here. Number one, how do you get sucked into this? Right? How do you get so invested?
Wow. Oh, God. Here we go with the narrative. Here we go with the real easy. We're victims. We're all victims. We all have the wool pulled over our eyes. How many times have I heard this narrative before, Like how easily fooled we are. A lot of us haven't spent more than $100. There's people in here right now in this chat that spend less than $100 on this, that have followed this for 10 years. They bought the beginner package and that's it. And they buy everything else in game. They spend like $50 and they buy everything else with in-game credits. That's all you have to do. It's not like you're a victim. There's plenty of people in here that have spent under $100, man. Yeah. But we're victims. Oh no, not that $45. I need that back for a fucking Happy Meal. Inflation, bitches.
That 5 million people will invest $705 million
You know, if you really want to make the Star Citizen fanboys explode, heads explode rather, there's a guy you should have on as a guest. He's also a video game developer, and that's Derek Smart. It'll make them furious because he's made similar games to Wing Commander, whatever. He has a little bit of a rival.
Translation: if you really want a lot of clicks on your video, if you really want a lot of money. That's what RazorFist is saying. Hey man, if you really want a lot of fucking money, if you really want to clickety clacks, you get that Derek Smart on right now. Come on. If you really want this podcast to be great.
Rivalry with Chris Roberts, but he's also one of the few people who was kind of reporting beat by beat what was going on early on in the development here. And he's kind of a meme in Star Citizen circles. But boy, that would be an interesting meeting, personally. But yeah, it just seems like they didn't. I mean, put it this way, they changed engines completely. When was that? 2015, 16? They changed to the Amazon, whatever the Amazon video game engine is. They changed the game's engine completely. It's just wild when you start looking into this stuff. I think they've subsisted largely on whale donors, what are called whales. It's people who have a lot of disposable income, and fair enough. I'm not going to, far be it from me to judge that. I don't think those people are stupid. They see some promise in the game, you know, more power to you as far as I'm concerned. But man, this is a long time to be developing a game. The most pertinent detail, though, was the one I pointed out, was how slowly they moved from 600 million to 700 million.
That's not true. I already showed you guys. That's not true. 1 year. 1 year. It took them 1 year to make $100 million of all fan-funded money. I'd say that's a fucking success, number one. I mean, what the fuck, man? It's not even factual. This guy isn't even factual. That's kind of sad because, like, the videos I watch from this dude, when he talks about gaming, I actually feel like this guy knows what the fuck he's talking about, you know? But now that, you know, I know this because I've covered this for so long, and you know, maybe it's just because this isn't his gig. He probably hasn't invested the amount of time in research that I have in Star Citizen. So he's coming from a spot that's, you know, generalities. He's not specializing in this project, so he doesn't know the facts about the project. He's speaking in generalities. Makes me worried that, like, the other games he's covering, he doesn't know jack shit about. Now I'm kind of questioning whether this guy's actually, like, his opinion even matters, which is sad because, like, the videos I watched from this dude, I actually kind of liked.
And there was a big deal made of them passing 600 million. Them getting to 700 million, it has actually slowed down, which I find slightly surprising.
Yeah,
I think
what's slightly surprising to me is now I'm kind of questioning everything this guy's ever made. And I mean, now that I'm looking at the fact that he's wearing these leather gloves while sipping on this drink, this iced coffee drink, now I was wondering why I haven't questioned it a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, dudes in sunglasses on podcast, listen, they're giant douches. Do not listen to them, okay?
The bigger thing here is look, you know, the word scam is thrown around. We use scam in the title today, right? I would just have a hard time wrapping my head around anything generating $100 million, right? And not having a product, a fully flushed out product, and people not being upset about it. Let alone
you can play Star Citizen. It's still in a largely unpresentable state. It's wild. Like, I got an RTX 4090 in my computer. It doesn't run very well.
It does
still. And
no. Frame rates have improved dramatically, actually. A lot of the OCS tech helped with frames, like a lot of that, and that was years ago when it comes to frames. But like the latency issues and the server issues are really the problem, and it does play janky as hell at times. You know, I get frustrated. There's truth in that, man. I get frustrated at the jankiness. I certainly do, and I know you guys do too. Anybody that's played Star Citizen knows this frustration, man. Playing this game sometimes really makes you want to vomit. You know, like there's other times when you're playing this game and you're like, wow, these are the coolest experiences I've ever had in gaming. It's a mixed bag. I mean, the truth of it is it's a mixed bag. You could be on a server that's so fucking stable and play for hours and have a great time. And then you could go days without getting a server that's, you know, that's good. And you have really shitty experiences back to back. Like, we know that. And why isn't Blab saying anything? Is Blab's falling asleep? God damn it, Blab, say something.
It's notorious for this. Even having a high-end PC, it's not the best optimized game. There's clearly a lot of like junk code or something. I'm losing my respect. It's just not a very well optimized game. Every time I've played Star Citizen, it's just chugged and had performance issues. It's not a smooth experience at all. But everyone focuses on the release date, and for good reason. Like, by the time Star Citizen releases, we'll all have our Star Citizenship. Like, we'll be playing it from a spaceship.
I think, you know,
put it this way, John Travolta will come out before Star Citizen.
I think that it's just from the outside looking in, this does not seem above board. That's all. I think that's the biggest thing.
And that's a true statement from the outside looking in. Like, you know, it's like I said, it's an easy target. That's a true statement. That's one of the first true statements I've ever heard. That's the first true statement I've heard on this podcast. From the outside looking in, yes, it is an easy target. And it looks that way from the outside in. But when you take the time and you know what it is that you're involved in and you have the facts, man, I don't know if I can watch much more of this. I really want to get to the part where they start digging on me and Space Tomato, though.
I don't know how anybody could, and maybe it's I don't know enough about this, right? But I don't understand how you can have $700 million of anything. Like, you can say, hey.
Now that's stupid. That's a dumb statement. Here's something that's going to offer you an everything game. Like, how could you not understand that it would be as successful that it is? You can come from a stance and say, well, those are false promises, DG. You know, you're being sold a lie. Here's the thing. I'm being sold something that doesn't exist, and I want it. I want an experience, and I want a company that's doing something that no other company's doing, not one. And that's where I'm putting my chips, on the people that are actually trying to do it. And like Damon said, who's one of the biggest skeptics in our chat, and we got plenty of skeptics here. These aren't all white knights in our chat, by the way. We got plenty of skeptics in here. I listen to everybody's opinion. This isn't an echo chamber on DG360. Like, there's all different mindsets here. You know, people are under the impression that, like, oh, this is the White Knight channel and everybody in here is a White Knight. Hell no. I love everybody's opinion, man. Everybody gets along here. People have different opinions and they still get along here, which is super rare on the internet, by the way. I would like to give you guys some fucking applause for that. That's respectable. Look, Mad Style hates Coob, man, but he's still here. Fucking Coob's the best. How could you hate Coob, Mad Style? I know you're teasing. I know you're. God damn it, Coob. Are you kidding me? Who's the most lovable guy in the room, man? God damn it. But again, you know, you got Mad Style. He'll throw your grandma up on the wall, break her neck. Watch out, Mad Style is completely metal. Keep your grandma away from him.
Hey, look at this. We're very transparent with the revenue that's our funding stats, right? But what is that?
Now
for gifting Starman.
Now they are. They didn't used to be. They would rattle off the number every year or 2 years or whatever, but they were remarkably opaque about the development for a.
And I would like to say that I believe I was so vocal about this. They were not showing us the numbers. Clearinghouse in the UK, they had to report because all of the revenues from public companies in the UK have to file their taxes, and all of them are made public, which I love about the UK. I love that. But or private companies have to list what they make publicly. And I think it's called Clearinghouse. I might be incorrect about that. Sorry. But I did cover the financials for the longest time. And I would like to say that DG360 is the reason I believe, you know, this is me. I'm conflating myself. I'm a narcissist after all. I think the reason why they released the numbers on the American side was because I was pounding the table like, what the fuck are you guys doing on the American side of things? Like, let's see the numbers. Let's see the numbers. Let's see the numbers. I had a year and a half where I was just pounding the table about financials. I wanted to see the financials, and boom, the RSI site started posting. In fact, the Cloud Imperium site started posting the financials on the American side of things, and I would like to say that I was the first ever in the Star Citizen content creation field that wanted to see the numbers. Nobody even fucking was worried about the numbers. Nobody was talking about the financials. I was the very first to talk about the fucking financials, which is the business side of things of Cloud Imperium, which is super important, because without the business, you don't have a game, you know?
Long. Like, they hired the lead designer on a game that I loved. It was a fan-made game, MechWarrior Living Legends. It was, this guy was pissed off at MechWarrior Online. Basically, it was kind of disappointing. And so he made this fan mod that was a proper MechWarrior game. And the reason they hired him was he was an expert in CryEngine. Quietly, like, I don't know, 2 years later or something, they just canned the guy and a bunch of other people. That's another part of this story that never gets talked about. There's been a ton of turnover. And it's like, why? The guy you hired was supposed to be an expert in CryEngine. So what happened there? And I think shortly thereafter, they wound up changing engines. It's based on CryEngine. Somebody in the chat mentioned that the Amazon engine or whatever is based on CryEngine, which is all, by the way, notorious.
Wow, this guy really does not know what the fuck is going on. It's just so like, it's like I'm having a say it ain't so moment. You know what I mean? Like, say it ain't so. This motherfucker's got 300,000 plus subscribers, and I've watched other videos from him thinking this motherfucker knew what he was talking about with games, man. And I'm having a say it ain't so moment, man. I was bypassing the leather gloves, for God's sake. I was bypassing the whole leather glove look. I was like, let the motherfucker wear leather gloves if he wants to. And now I'm just like, fuck. Like, say it ain't so, dude. It's just like there's not a lot of knowledge here. There's not a lot of facts about this, and it's just disappointing. And, you know, maybe this is the type of podcast. It's just like a generality. Like, it's like they're speaking in generalities, talking about news topics to get in the curb appeal, and, you know, like to spiff things up and bring as many people as they can to their podcast. And I get that as a creator. I understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, at least if you're going to have an opinion about something, at least know what the fuck you're talking about a little bit. And I can't even get to the part where they're going to badmouth me, man. I can't even get to it. I really want to hear what they got to say about me and Space Tomato, but, you know, maybe somebody link it. Maybe somebody timestamp this shit. If you can get through this and just link it to me, the timestamp, and then I'll watch it on a next stream. But I don't think I can. I know I need leather gloves now. I know I definitely want some leather gloves.